Welcome to 15 with Christine. Joyce Dabbs, broker owner with Dabbs Realty and partner with Rare Transportation, is our special guest today. So let's get started. On 15 with Christine, we talk about all things business growth. But before we dive in, I want to let you know where you can find the broadcast. I'm going to come to you live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and you won't miss an episode. My goal with 15 with Christine is to introduce you to people who can help you grow your business. And I think there's a couple of ways you can learn from our special guest today, Joyce Dabbs. Joyce, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I am excited for this conversation because I have watched you move into your new business venture and definitely want to ask you about that. But first, I'd like to start by asking about your journey as an entrepreneur because you have such a wealth of experience for our listeners to learn from. How would you describe that journey?
A mix of emotions. It's a love-hate relationship sometimes. It's a constant, you constantly have to learn. I mean, from reading books to getting mentors. So it's been a roller coaster, but it's been a lot of fun.
When did you become an entrepreneur? Like, how long have you owned and built businesses?
Since 2006.
Yeah.
Yep. So my husband owned a business before then, but then we became partners with Rare Transportation in 2006. So I've been learning ever since.
How did you make the decision to jump into entrepreneurship?
I think for me, it to be honest with you, it kind of happened by mistake. I quit an incredible job, making great money to stay home and be with my kids. And so I was pregnant at the time and I just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Well, I started noticing that my husband was working long hours and he needed some help. So about 2 weeks before I had my first child, I started helping him and learned a lot just from working with him. And then I guess shortly after that, we became partners and just started building. So it was never something that I had anticipated on doing.
Yes.
But I do come from a family of entrepreneurs. My mom was an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. So, yeah.
So while it was a jump for you to make that leap, it wasn't unfamiliar.
That's correct. Right. Yes. I watched them grow multiple businesses as I really grew up.
Yeah. What led you to where you are today with Dabbs Realty?
I think a lot of people had to pivot. I hate to say the word COVID, but that's pretty much what we all had to do. So about in 2020, we decided to sell off one of our companies. And when we did that, we downsized Rare Transportation. And so my husband was able to truly kind of take the reins on that.
Yes.
And I was at home bored because I still do a lot for Rare Transportation, but I wasn't challenged.
Yes.
And we were both real estate investors. And so we'd always invested in real estate, and it's always been a passion. So I got my license in 2020.
Yes.
And started working with a pretty large firm here in Birmingham. I had some great mentors, learned from them. I did that for about a year and a half. And then I went to work for another company I got to learn the commercial side of real estate, which was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took a leap of faith. All I know is how to run a business. And I just felt like it was time for me to go solo. So that's what I did.
Well, when I saw you make the announcement, I mean, first I saw you make the announcement about going into the commercial space, which did not surprise me with your background and experience and your drive. And then shortly after that, I saw the announcement about Dabbs Realty. And that was like, I've got to have Joyce on to talk, because I knew when you went into real estate that this was a venture you had considered for a long time.
Yes.
Knew you had a lot of expertise in the space already. So to see you just take off like a rocket ship in this space was not surprising at all. But I'd like to hear from you. What opportunity in today's environment did you see specifically in pursuing more commercial business? And just curious, what does having your own agency help you do?
So I think the biggest thing for me as far as opportunity was concerned was it's very important when you're in real estate to specialize in something specific. Okay.
Yes.
So you either are a residential
Yes.
realtor, or you're a commercial broker, commercial agent.
Yes.
And I kind of mixed the two, and I created something that was more versatile, in the sense that most of my clients are business owners,
Yes,
and investors. I took the opportunity with commercial and residential, and I sort of mixed the two, in the sense
yeah,
that I basically work with a lot of business owners and a lot of investors. And those business owners or investors, they may be in the Airbnb space, or they
yeah,
may be in the flex industrial space, or flipping houses or rentals. So I kind of combined both classes of real estate, residential and commercial. And I
yes.
truly focus a lot on the investor, and help create that portfolio, that investment, that return, that ROI that they're looking for.
So in many ways, you are delivering what you and your husband have needed as you have invested in real estate, as you've grown your businesses over the years.
That's exactly right. I understand that space. I understand
Yes.
what an investor needs, what a business owner needs, and how to create that for them, and bring them options that they truly, that fit their needs. Because a lot of times it's, not just saying, hey, there's 15 properties, why don't you take a look? No, I really fine tune it, and I do a lot of math behind the scenes to make sure that it makes sense for the client before I even present it.
Right. How'd you learn to do that?
A lot of trial and error, a lot of mentors, my own experience.
Yes.
My own experience. We have a fairly decent portfolio. So
Yes.
I think the stock market's great. And unfortunately, none of us in the last 2 years have really benefited much from that. And so we shifted a couple of years ago and went straight into more real estate. And I feel like it just provides such an incredible ROI. And I immersed myself in everything from webinars to communicating with other agents. I'm not afraid to ask for help, especially being a solo agent now. I don't have a group of people to go to,
Yes.
but this culture that we're in, and the realtors that I work with, everybody wants to help each other succeed. So we just learn from each other.
So from a business owner's perspective, as you are growing a business, what is the value of investing in real estate? Like, for example, whether that's for your own office, whether that is outside a space that you use for your own purposes. What have you found to be the benefits to building that into your long-term strategic plan?
So one of my favorite examples is about rental income.
Okay.
If you were to purchase a property, at the time you purchase the property, the goal is to ensure that that property increases in value.
Yes.
So it appreciates, right? And you're getting paid from the appreciation. You know, if you buy and hold it and sell it at a later date. So you'll, so that's one way. The second way is you get paid through the rental income that you get.
Okay.
You know, you're when you purchase it, a lot of times a lot of people can't do cash, so they finance it.
Yes.
And if you can get enough income to cover that mortgage, then your cash on cash return for the first year should be high enough to cover what you've paid in your down payment. And then anything else should be covered by the tenant. So that's paying you there.
Yes.
The third way is through tax savings. So you can do a cost segregation study, and there's a lot of information out there online and several people that do it. But instead of depreciating that property over 27 and a half years to 39 and a half years, you can actually do what's called bonus depreciation. And you can depreciate that property over 5 to 7 years. So it's very low cost to do a cost segregation study, and it would save you thousands in your on your taxes. So definitely multiple ways just to make money off of that one piece of real estate.
So Joyce, when you talk about helping your investor clients, is this the math that you're talking about, or the analysis that you bring to the table?
That's one of the ways, yes.
Okay.
The other way is determine, you know, what their return on investment would be for whether or not they're using it as owner occupied as well. And then also looking at financial analysis when it comes to, you know, short-term rentals. Is it a good investment? What areas of Alabama work best for them?
Okay.
And then if they don't want to invest in Alabama, we have partners all over the country that, you know, we can connect you with. And, you know, if you want to be in Florida or New York, wherever. So we can connect you really to any place.
But your knowledge still applies.
Absolutely.
So Joyce, if a business owner's listening to this and they're thinking, you know what, I should plan to diversify, you know, as my business is growing, as my revenue stream is growing, how could they reach out to talk with you and learn more?
A couple of ways. That is one of the things that my clients love, is that I'm extremely accessible by phone.
Yes.
So you can call my phone number. You can text me 205-447-8442. And my information should be down on that screen as well. You can email me. I usually like to kind of meet with people who haven't been in the real estate industry before or haven't invested. I really like to kind of sit down and talk to them a little bit more about what their goals are and make sure that what they're wanting to do is realistic or doable or attainable. But yeah, I answer my phone. So, and if I don't recognize the number, that's a little bit hard. But if you text me and say, hey, this is so-and-so, and I'd love to talk to you about real estate, I heard your podcast, then I will more than likely call you right back.
Well, thank you, Joyce. It's dabbsrealty.com. So enjoyed the conversation. I learned a lot, and I'm sure some others have as well.
Thanks for
coming
having
on.
me. Thank you.
We will be back with another episode of 15 with Christine 2 weeks from today. Until then.